Okay, as always, we just dive into this consciousness, this source code, and talk about something that inspiration occurred. See, there it is right there. You hear that? So, my man Vesuvius just came out with this video about water. And I want to talk about water and spirits and energy and alchemy and alcohol and all of these liquid substrates of the world, of what you are and how you climb Jacob's ladder, and what the belief system that most people have about. I think I might even get into the elementals in the sense of weed, beer, cola, and food. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. But I really want to essentially focus on what spirits are, because for a very long time I've participated in the endeavor of calculating my environment based upon the consumption of an element that was already, um, how to put it, it was already digested. Like, you can take food, you can take food and digest it yourself. Which means if I give you the puzzle, if I give you the whole thing, you can spend 10 hours figuring out how to put it together. If you can take a, which means take a dense object and turn it into a liquid object, and then turn it into a very airy substance. And that's what happens with a spirit. That's what happens with alcohol. That's what happens with alchemy. That's what happens with the alchemists. So even in the tense of taking lead and turning it into gold, everyone searches for they still use the physicality of what lead is and what gold is, and then they once again use the construct of the words lead and gold. They don't understand quite specifically that the construct is only mental, meaning you die, you will die, unless, of course, you understand what transmutation of energy is. Lead to gold is not a physical to physical, it's not a replication or a transmutation in a physical form. It's mentally what you perceive as the construct of what you live in. Meaning, if your mind can transmute the energy that is in front of you, then your mind can do anything. So as soon as you can start to move around a tiny little piece of tin foil, and all of a sudden you're telekinetic, that's perfect. That's perfected you perceiving yourself as part of that object, which means your mind controlled the object, which means your mind, which is of a higher source, connected to the physical realm and adjusted it. So, from there, what is the, how do we calculate the geometry of our position as a human being? Where we are right now. What do we, what are we, and what are we emancipating ourself, and what is ourself? Because ourself is to get back to the construct, to get back to the idea of this video, which is spirit. You're made of spirit. You're made of the alcohol substance. You're made of the thing. It's so profound that the substance of life is the energetic principle of what you find in beer. It's the fluidity and the breathing and the mechanism of what the bubbles are. The density is gone. So when you consume alcohol in any form, the density of your life is gone. You dance, you have fun, you laugh, it's but then everyone says, no, that's the wrong way to go. That's evil. That's demonic. And see, there it is again. See, you could hear that. So to get to what the spirit is, I'm not suggesting to find water to be different than the substance that is orchestrated inside of water, which is it's the transmutation of the dense world into the spirit world, which gets held inside of a liquid, which becomes a spirit, which becomes alcohol, which is mystical. So the mystics can use any substance and transmute it into it's why liquid is the most important thing, because liquid can go up in the sky and drop down as rain, and liquid can go into the earth and help a seed sprout. But air stays where it is, earth stays where it is. But water and the mechanism and the spirituality of what water is as the holding unit for memory. It holds information of light. It is the spirit. So anybody that thinks that alcohol is some sort of evil, it's profound because it's been overused and used in the wrong way. So when we find ourselves connected to water, because water is soul, water is the first source. If we want to speed up a process, we can find spirit. Because the spirit is always more profound. If you sat in a room with someone and you have a normal conversation, what you'll find is that it's very mundane. But if you add some spirit to that conversation, you'll find yourself participating in higher levels of knowledge. That you'll cut through the shit. That if you used alcohol to clean something, while it might be very aggressive, abrasive, you will see that the alcohol will clean the system quicker. But nobody likes it because you've been told it's legal, but yeah, you gotta watch out for it. So use it in the correct quantities. Understand that it is the essence of what life is. You take the most dense material, you put it into a liquid, which is the next level, substrate, and then you burn it because you are the fire, you're the alchemist. And then it goes up into the skies and goes through the alchemical system and burns off what shouldn't be there and gives you what the spirit is, the essence of that material substance. If you, in the same way, are a material, you can find the correct essence of what you are in the same regard by burning off what you are not. And you are not your body. You're barely your mind. And you're much closer to the essence, which is the soul, which is the sun, which imbues in this time frame the essence of your life, which is water, which comes between sun and earth. Sun and earth give you water, which is a spirit, and that spirit is imbued and it participates with the essence of the sun and the soil, meaning the soul and the soil, which I've done plenty of times to describe to you those ideas. And it's the spirit of your life. Because if you die right now, what happens? You're done with this experience. Have a good time. You're gone. But in the moment, what should you do? What makes you smile? I guarantee anybody that has a beverage in their fucking face, look at that, and they just take a couple of drinks, and then somebody wants to go to this alcohol is evil, weed is evil, food is evil. No, it's always done in the most absurd. People collect information, whether it's in food or alcohol or whatever it might be. They collect it in the most bizarre ways. They over consume. But before I overindulge in explaining this to you, the spirit is definitely part of you. People that you have to really judge what happens. What do you think happens? Let me do it this way. I'll do one more final tiny little lesson here. If you eat food, what do you think happens in your body? If you take food and like potatoes and you put it in your body, what do you think happens? Now, if you take that potato and you put it out into an alchemy lab, it turns into vodka. What do you think happens in your body? Why do you think people have more life after eating? Why do you think eating turns, if you eat right away, you have less energy? Focus. You have less energy by eating, but in 10 hours, you'll have a lot of energy. So if you take that substance and put it outside of your body and transmute that physical substance into water through the spirit, and you consume that spirit, you have more energy. There's energy in the higher, the less dense forms. So if you really want to get to it, just start breathing. Breathe different. But everyone needs to go through calculated upheavals, calculated transitions of getting out of a dense world. And the spiritual world is the condensation of what is above and what is below into a liquid format that produces what you are. This is why I speak at length about the transmutation and the use of alcohol in a good way. You can use alcohol, you can even get into the other realm, because you can get into the acid and alkaline realm, and we're going to do a video very soon on alcohol and alkaline. But right now, the focus is spirituality. And there you go. Find it. It's good for you. Cheers, y'all.